Let me know when you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
So last session we discussed about the route tables. So anyone who can explain to me what exactly is a route table? Come on, guys,
Yeah,
quickly.
sure. Sure. Route table is like first level of security where or basically a route table have source IP and destination IP
Mhm.
and the port numbers. So if the device gets request from that source or those port numbers, I think it will direct to the destination address. Um, One example could be your Wi-Fi router, which has the address of DNS,
Mhm.
and
Okay, let's
a
continue.
single route table
Right.
can be shared with multiple EC2 instance, but each EC2 instance should at least have one route table.
Okay, got it. So basically, route table is set of rules that you define at the subnet VPC level, actually, which gets attached to the subnet, and it is a gateway which directs the traffic that is coming in or going out to a subnet, actually. So it is the gateway where you define what can go out and what can come in, and why using what channel or what pipeline that you define over there, actually. So this is a very very important concept. So when you are getting into the networking or for the certification, you need to understand how the route table is configured. They give you a scenario wherein there will be no internet gateway or virtual VPC peering gateway, any of those things, and then they'll say tell you what needs to be added to the route table so that it can establish a communication between the two VPC or to the internet. So that is a kind of a scenario that it will be given to you during the exam. Your VPC has an implicit router and you can use route tables to control where traffic is directed, each subnet. And remember, every subnet can have only one route table. However, one route table can be attached to multiple subnets. It's a very important point. You need to memorize that, actually. You can explicitly associate a subnet with particular router. Otherwise, the subnet is implicitly associated with the main route table. So there is, even if you do not create a route table, so there will be a default route table. Just like when you create your EC2 instance, you have a default VPC wherein the EC2 instance will get associated itself with that VPC. Same way, there will be a default route table. If you do not define any route table, it will get associated with the main route table. So this we discussed. You can optionally associate a route table with internet gateway or
Yeah.
what's preferred as gateway route table. This enables you to specify routing rules for inbound traffic that enter your VPC through gateway. You can create gateway route table for fine-grained control over the routing path of traffic entering your VPC.
Yeah, I think we saw a diagram for this.
Yeah, fantastic. So further is we discussed about this one. Did we not? So this is the route table wherein you have the destination and the target, actually. Now there is a little bit of confusion here. Usually it is mentioned as source and target. We are very familiar with the kind of the naming convention. However, here, as you see,
Destination and target seems to be same thing.
exactly that, but that is how it is being defined.
Okay.
So the destination is the actual endpoint.
Okay.
Target
Target is
is
kind of sourcing.
target is the gateway appliance or the configuration that you define to be used. This is the kind of pipe, and this is the end tap. So if you see the pipeline where you have the pipe and a tap at the end, right? So destination is a tap where actually the water comes out, and the target is the pipe that you lay, the communication channel that you lay, configure in the AWS. So it's a little deceptive, but that is kind
So,
of.
so Salim bhai, how can target have two local?
Which one?
How can target have two local entries?
You tell me why. Just look at the destination and tell me why. We discussed on this,
Oh, one is VP I4 and one is VP6. Okay, okay. I was thinking that those are all unique.
right? So the destination on the left side, that is what you need to see. So can somebody tell me what is this route and what is the zeros?
That is
Anwar, let the other speak for a minute.
sure. I'll grab some more.
Zeros public. I think you never want your IP to be zero.
We discussed this, Abdullah. We discussed this. This is an exam question. Come on. Try it. Either is.
So zero is you're allowing any traffic to come in.
What is the IGW? 1, 2, 3, 4.
IGW is I'm blanking out now.
I have the answers on the left actually. There is a route for all IP traffic. So zeros means it is open to the world. Anything in the world can connect, can communicate. That is what it means. Zeros is anything in the world. So IGW is internet gateway. So if you have this route table, then your subnet, what is it called? What is the subnet called? If you have this route,
Public subnet.
exactly. So if you have this subnet, if this route table, if any route table that is associated with subnet has an internet gateway rule, then it is called as a public subnet. If it is missing here, then it is not a public subnet. Okay. So the following diagram shows the routing of a VPC with internet. So if you study this diagram, you have an internet gateway that connects to the internet here. Then it has a route to the internet gateway, this public subnet. And this is a private subnet. This does not have a communication to this one. So this is a simple diagram of it actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What is VPN? Virtual private network lets you establish a secure and private encrypted tunnel from your network or device to the global network. Comprises of two services. So AWS VPN has two services. If you study this diagram on the bottom actually, so everybody knows what a VPN is. I mean to say, we connect to our organization systems using VPN. But many of us don't know how exactly the communication happens actually. So if this is your local network and your subnet, actually, basically what happens is if this you connect to your uh, infrastructure, now you have your IDS, IPS kind of a communication channel. So under that, there gets established another sub tunnel which is very specific to your communication between your laptop and your company's network. So there's a that tunnel is called as a VPN tunnel. In AWS we have majorly two kinds of VPN connections. One is site to site VPN and one is a client VPN. So site to site VPN enables you to connect on premise network to or branch office to your Amazon VPC.
Sorry, Salim bhai, why are we discussing this? I'm trying to understand. Like, will I be will can we be able to configure a VPN through our AWS account? And
Exactly. That's the reason why we are discussing it here actually. So from AWS provides you these provision to create a VPN tunnel, site-to-site VPN and a client VPN tunnel, wherein you can communicate between your two branch offices via VPN communication. So I see, just like your Citrix client, Citrix Zen client, where you have installed on your laptop, which establishes a communication, secure communication channel between your organization, your laptop or your workstation to the company's network. Same way, AWS provides a VPN tunnel wherein one branch office can communicate to another branch office or your workstation. So there is something called workspace in AWS also. So you can use that to communicate to your network. So that is the concept of site-to-site VPN. And client VPN enables connect to other users who are who are outside your network to communicate to your AWS network. So in many companies, they may use VPN tunneling with AWS, or they may go with other service provider like Cisco, or they may go with Citrix, Zen client, and though many of those kind of thing actually. But AWS also provides you a provision for that actually.
So if I have AWS client VPN, I need not be on company's VPN to access the AWS cloud.
You need to have the VPN of AWS configured to accept connection from your workstation or wherever you are generating your request.
Okay.
That has to be configured. So if not, then you'll not be able to. You need to follow what your network team's strategy is actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have multiple options. This is one option of provided by AWS actually. So there are two services. You need to know this. This may be an exam question, but not 100%, but it may come up.
So Salim bhai, I have a question. Does this VPN
Mhm.
reduce my speeds?
No, it will not, absolutely not reduce your speed.
Usually, so in some of the cases, whenever you're connected to VPN, when there are like a lot of people connected to VPN, then your speeds reduce, right? That we encounter with our local.
Yes, it does happen actually. What happens here is, like, if this is, let me draw a diagram. This is you, okay? And this is your company network. And
everybody working from home trying to access the company.
Yeah.
Let me take this. This is the internet. Okay, when you are connecting to your server in in your company, right? You have multiple servers. Now you want to connect to your company's network. You go to the internet um, via your
Xfinity.
service
Yeah.
provider, Xfinity or something, and the internet again connects to your server, right? So how does this establish a connection? There is a fiber channel network or whatever the physical network that is there. Now the logical network is the IPsec channel actually. So there is a kind of a pipeline here. So there is a pipeline here. There's a pipeline here. Now what happens here is, this is a common network that you connect to the network actually, full bandwidth. Now, when you create a VPN tunneling, so within this channel or within this bigger tunnel, there is another pipeline that gets established. Small one actually, like this. So this is more secure, where only you can communicate. Okay. Nobody else can penetrate into this one. So somebody gets into, tries to penetrate, they can get through this layer, but they cannot get through the other second layer actually.
Okay.
So this is the layer 2 actually. So it forms a small pipe and it establishes a connection to here actually. Now what happened here is, so you are one person. So multiple people join here, right? They start using the same channel here actually.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
This part.
Interesting.
So this part is dedicated to you, but this part is not dedicated to you. It is all shared. So
Okay.
here it becomes a network congestion.
Okay. And where is my VPN in this?
This communication itself is VPN. So the
The second layer, you
virtual
mean? Okay.
private network. There
Okay.
is a privatization of the overall. If this channel does not exist, then there is
Okay.
a network actually. So this is
Okay.
getting network to this one actually. Now there is a virtually you are creating a private network, private tunneling.
Okay.
So
And
that is
does
what.
the AWS or Amazon have fixed kind of like size of the pipe or something, like only 10 people can at a time?
Yes, absolutely. There are configurations of that kind. However, like for example, it depends upon you can define number of people. Usually, you don't define it, but it is up to your bandwidth speed. Up to it can take. Like you can eat as much as your stomach can take, or you can limit yourself. It's up to you. But we don't need to go so deep. Actually, we can try to figure that out during the configuration of it. We can define the number of connections and other details as well.
Mhm.
But at this point of time, I think yeah, you can define, but it takes as absolutely almost the entire bandwidth. So again, the number of users are defined using you create your user credentials. Like you need to have your authentication to use
Mhm.
private channel. So
Mhm.
that defines as soon as you configure you as a user of this VPN, a
Mhm.
user gets added to it. Actually, that's how dynamically it is. Actually, that's how you define number of users or number of
Mhm.
less users. You
And
cannot deprive. You cannot deprive anybody of the connection. Once you give him access, he has access to it.
okay. So Salim bhai, I have another question actually. How that authentication is going on? And the second one is how do like I sitting from my home connect to my office servers
So connection
with the help of
will be
VPN.
so
How
that,
do you design that
so
address?
yeah, there are two ways actually. When we are talking about a client, you are a client here. You're not a see. This is the client VPN
Hmm.
tunnel. So you are an user, external user, right?
Hmm.
So you can establish connection. Basically, many companies they have a client software that runs on this user machine which establish a authentication. You need to enter your username, password, everything. So you need to configure those credentials in the management of the VPN. So
Hmm.
if that is allowed, then you again there will be multi-factor authentication, like you have your two-factor authorization. He's holding a RSA token there.
Hmm.
That was a very traditional way actually. Now it is no longer I mean to say most of the company some companies do use it, but many companies do not use it. So that was a kind of a invention, the RSA algorithm, which established you create a you log in using your network credentials, and then you have something called as a temporary generated key, or usually it is a 6-digit key in the RSA, or it is 8-digit or 4-digit key, which
Hmm.
lives for about 20 seconds, 20 to 22 seconds, I think so. So there is so it works on an algorithm. So this key is configuration is associated with RSA manager again somewhere here. So it's a very deep dive algorithm study actually. So what if you go through that, the key is recognized by your own systems. So that way it says, oh, this is the person who's trying to come in through this channel is a recognized person. I have him configured here. So allow him. Let's allow him. So yes, then it allows actually. So when you try to connect to a VPN, that's the time it takes, about few seconds or 20 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute, up to 1 minute, trying to establish connection to your management server.
Okay.
So the company IT or admin can allow or not allow you or deny the access for
Yes,
any VPN. Right?
yes, yes, yes. Companies admin, network admin will not do that. It is again, it is a part of the IAM team, Identity and Access Management team. So there's a separate team. Network team only lays down and configures the channel. So there is another team who will work on configuring who has access and who does not have access. So there are multiple teams involved in working here.
So they can deny anytime, allow anytime, temporary or whatever.
Usually once they allow it actually, so they do not deny it. That's what, as a company policy, you cannot deny connection. So you can deny connection. Usually this is a common scenario, like you are in US, right? You are in
Yeah.
USA, right? So you are getting connected. Now what happens? You travel to China, or you travel to India, or Iran, Iraq,
Yeah.
or Afghanistan, right? Then you
Yes.
try to, there is another cloud here actually. So you try to connect to that cloud and this one. Suddenly the network team, the security team will get a notification, an unknown IP address range, right, which does not belong to US, is trying to come in here.
Uh,
Okay, what it does is, as soon there will be auto remediation or manual remediation, what happens as soon as, that is what IPsec and IDS and IPsec does, it identifies a threat, whether it is a genuine threat or a false threat, it doesn't matter. So this is an unknown IP address, right? So your IP address may be 5 dot something actually coming from Iraq, Iran, India,
yes.
anything, right? So from US, it is all configured here. Anybody throughout the US, he logs in, immediately that IP address is registered in this server. But
I guess within US, like employee, they lay off so they can deny their access anymore, right?
yes, as soon as a company lays off uh, this one, an employee, so what it does, the IAM team, Identity and Access Management team, will revoke his network access. That means they will delete his network access. So that way, his network access is associated with something called single sign-on we discussed in one of our previous session, which
Yes.
is used for authentication, his HR application, his leave application, his salary, his access to his work servers and other things. So all that will be cut off immediately.
Oh,
Okay, now where access to AWS remains, there is a kind of, usually sometimes there is a job to identify and run all the users that have been cut off to be removed from the AWS. So there are multiple strategies that are followed, but at this point of time, the network access is removed. And once the network access is removed, he is not able to authenticate itself. Forget about his RSA token or his multi-factor token. He's not able to authenticate because immediately he gets cut off here. Now again, here I was talking about US, India,
other.
China, and other thing, right? So as soon as he sees that an IP address is not and from a known source, right? Immediately he quarantines this entire area. He does not allow any communication. So this user, what he needs to do is he needs to reach out to the networking guy saying that it is me, Salim Aftab. I have gone on a vacation to India